Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to this month's AMN Live Q&A session. October is an exciting month for AMN Healthcare because it's National Physical Therapy Month. So what better way to celebrate the PTs we work with daily than to bring on a current AMN PT traveler. Today, we are joined by Marvin along with his recruiter, Aaron. So welcome both. Thank you so much for hopping on.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Thank you for having us. We're excited.
Yeah, for having us. Yeah.
And before we dive into your all's introductions, let's just review a couple of housekeeping items. So first and foremost, throughout our time today, feel welcome to drop questions, comments in the chat. We will be keeping a close lookout for your questions. We'll be able to get back to you on those as we're live. Also, while you're online today, be sure to check us out on social media. Our Instagram handle is at AMN Allied. And we also have a mobile app if you haven't downloaded it. It's called AMN Passport. Lastly, just a quick reminder as well before we get started, you can learn more about our current $5,000 scholarship contest via the AMN Passport app. Qualifying candidates for the scholarship contest are SLPs, PTs, OTs, as well as school psychology graduate students. So applications are due a month from today on November 30th, and there should be a handy QR code on the screen that you can scan for more details as well. Perfect. So now that that is out of the way, let's jump into a bit of PT fun. Aaron, let's start out with you first before we put the spotlight on Marvin. If you just want to share a little bit about yourself, give us a little rundown of who you are.
Absolutely. Thank you again for putting us on, Nicole. We're excited. My name is Aaron, and I obviously have worked with AMN for about 8 years now as a recruiting consultant, and have 2 kiddos, 4 and 2, and my wife and I, we've lived in Dallas now for about 10 years. I'm originally from Arizona, and my wife's from Dallas. So I've lived in Dallas for about 10 years and have just been enjoying the staffing world and helping traveling clinicians like Marvin find their dream travel contract. And yeah, it's kind of fun for me behind the scenes to get to live vicariously through my travelers and see them and their adventures and follow them on social media like Marvin. He's wonderful on his Instagram. but yeah, just love working for the company. I love helping PTs and traveling clinicians find their dream travel job. So that's enough about me. How about Marvin?
Okay, I'm Marvin. I'm a physical therapist. I've been a physical therapist for, this year is my 10th year. I'm originally from the Philippines. I moved here in the US 5 years ago, back in 2018, and I settled in Kentucky that time. And then I've been a traveler for more than 2 years now. Before I was working full time in Kentucky. And then I started doing travel job back in September of 2021. Right now, I'm currently here in Bay Area. I've been here for almost a year doing travel jobs. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. And Marvin, I know you're in California right now. I'd love to hear a little bit more about your travel journey, kind of where you started and where you've landed so far.
Okay. So as I said, I started travel job back in September 2021. Initially, I had a thought of it before, but I thought about like moving a lot of times, and then I thought it's going to be stressful. My former workmates are encouraging me because they know I like to travel. And then when I bumped into like when in our hospital when we had like travel workers come in, that's when I asked them. And then I had friends who started travel job as well. So that's when I knew about it. So I started, since I live in Kentucky, I try to start, I'm close to home. So I started my first travel contract in West Virginia. It's in a nursing home. I was there for 2 contracts, so 6 months. And then after that, I moved to Baltimore in Maryland. And then that's when I started a full time acute care hospital. That's when I get connected with Aaron during that time for that contract. And then after that, I spent two contracts there as well. So 6 months, took a break. I flew back to the Philippines for a break. And then last year, November of last year, I moved here in West Coast because I want to try the West Coast life, as they say. So yeah, so I've been here for a year now. I've done several contracts here, two facilities. I usually extend contracts. So yeah, I like it here. Right now, I'm working in an acute care hospital still, because that's kind of my preference for now. But yeah, I've been with Aaron has been my recruiter for a year and a half now. So yeah, he knows what my preference are. He knows like what kind of facilities I would prefer. So I'm really comfortable working with him right now. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And what would you say, just from a traveler to recruiter relationship, what are some of the things you would advise travelers to look for in a recruiter? What are some things that have worked well for you?
So before I was kind of really hesitant. Like I don't know, like if the company is like I want to look at the reputation of the company. Like so I did research on what are the top travel companies in the US. So what I did was I used a website. It's called Travel Therapy Mentor. It's
Mhm.
by Whitney and Jared. Shout out to Whitney and Jared. Um, so what that's what I use. They have a recruiter recommendation form, and then they connected me to different recruiters. And then what I was looking for a recruiter is like I always ask like how long have you been with the company? Because experience matter for me. If they know how the company works, how travel job works, so that way if I have questions, they can answer it easily. So and also the ease of like talking to a recruiter. I know the time difference can be a factor, but luckily with Aaron, he's been very responsive. Sometimes I forgot that he's like um um hours ahead of me, so I would message him like late night, but he's still replying. So um yeah, just the ease of connection and then the communication as well. That's what makes me like confident in like looking for contracts if my recruiter is easy to talk to.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
you're welcome.
And I want to kind of backtrack a little bit too. I know from hearing about your experience so far, your home state was Kentucky. I
Mhm,
went to West Virginia, and then from there.
mhm,
And a big topic that we talk about a lot with PTs is the PT compact. So I
mhm,
know you were eligible for that from having your home state in Kentucky.
mhm.
What kind of insight do you have on utilizing the PT compact throughout your travel experience, or what kind of light can you shed on that?
Okay. So PT Compact, I think it's a good way they did that for physical therapists because it kind of cuts off the wait time for getting like applying a direct license to a specific state. Like for my first assignment, it's West Virginia. They're a member of Compact as well. So I was able to get a license there in just one night. So I just applied one night. I paid for it. I did the law exam and then I got the license. So that's why I had like I was able to get a contract I think in a matter of days because they saw that I already have a license. So for the other states, like for Maryland, luckily I already have like a Maryland license, but they're also eligible for PT Compact. So right now, whenever I'm looking for contracts, it's easier to narrow down like the contracts I like because I would just tell my recruiter like, okay, I'm okay looking for contracts in compact states, and then Aaron would give me contract. Okay, these are our contracts on these states. They're compact, so it's easier to get license on the compact state. It varies. One it varies on state, so you just have to check out the PT Compact website because the rules differ. But overall it's easier because
Mhm.
I got licenses on non-compact states, and there was one state that it took me 3 months to get a contract. So good thing I haven't booked a contract yet because it's gonna be on hold. But yeah, just at the ease of having license is really gives me the comfort of like finding a contract instantly.
Yeah, I like what you said about it can narrow things down. Because I know Aaron can tell you there's thousands of PT jobs
Yeah.
sometimes. Like it's bananas how many the volume of PT jobs. So having the PT compact, if you're eligible, it does help narrow things down for sure.
Mhm, mhm.
Definitely speeds up, expedites the process. There, like Marvin said, there's a few states out there that they might require, in addition to the compact, jurisprudence exam to be taken. But still, in the grand scheme of things, if you did not have the PT compact license, it would be significantly longer. So, yeah, lots of benefits if you're in a state that participates in a compact.
Mhm.
Yeah. And, that's, I would say, one fear that travelers have when looking into traveling is license, of how long can it take to get a license. Another kind of fear or question we get a lot from PTs or clinicians in general is housing. And until you're really in the shoes of a traveler, it can feel a little bit overwhelming to process how you're going to coordinate housing, while you're on assignment. So Marvin, do you have any sites that you've used to help with housing, or any tips or tricks that you want to share with the
Mhm.
audience?
Mhm. So, like looking for travel jobs, sometimes it can be easy because there's a lot of travel jobs right now. But finding a housing is the most challenging for me whenever I find a contract, just because I don't have idea about what how the area is. So
Mhm.
what I usually do is when I look for contracts, I go on maps, I look at the area, I look at the population, what's around the area, and then that's when I start looking for like housing on specific websites. For me, I usually used Furnished Finder. That's a website specifically catered for travelers.
Mhm.
So most of all the housings I've used, I've got it there. So, and also aside from that, because there's no guarantee you're gonna get the housing there, so I always like to have a backup. So I joined also Facebook groups of travelers. They post their I post their my inquiries, like I'm going to this facility, do you know any housing? And then on those groups, the owner of the housing, they're also in there. So sometimes they would message me directly, like I have this house, I'm renting it to travelers. Currently, I have this number of travelers renting to my house. So it gives me that ease that it's safe. Other than aside from that, I also check on Airbnb. It can be on the pricier end, just for me to have a a backup. But yeah, I've talked to owners there as well, and they're open to travelers, especially on areas where there are a lot of travel jobs. Um, Other sites, if there's a point that I can't find a place on those websites, I would contact the manager directly of the facility I'm going to, and then I would ask them like, where are your travelers staying? What will you recommend? Or if you know someone who rents out for traveler. And then there are times that the managers would tell me like, okay, our travelers usually rent at this hotel, or they use this website. So yeah, it kind of gives me the ease as well,
Mhm.
because they're from that area. And
Right.
also sometimes I would message travelers I follow on Instagram, just to, if I know they've been to that area, I would message them like, do you know any housing on this area? So yeah, just whatever works, but mostly I'm using Furnished Finder.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, lots
Facebook
of
groups are very helpful. I feel like I've had so many travelers have luck finding housing through those travel therapy Facebook groups, like Marvin was was mentioning just either travelers looking to help somebody looking for housing, or if you just post in there where you're headed to during these date ranges. Does anybody have any housing leads? And oftentimes you might get a handful of responses of potential tenants or leads that you can reach out to. So yeah, that's a really good point and a really good resource.
Mhm. But mind you, also on those Facebook group, you just have to be kind of cautious as well,
Definitely.
because there was one time I posted like an inquiry there, and then someone messaged me directly. It was promising. The place is really nice. They sent pictures, links, and then I. But the price, when they gave me the price of the place, I was like, okay, this is not the usual price in this area. That's why I like looking at the websites, because I can have an idea of the prices. But turned out they're asking for like this amount of money before I get to view the area. I was like, okay, this is kind of shady, so I'm not gonna do this. So just be mindful on like Facebook group. Make sure you also vet the person you're
Mhm.
talking to.
Yeah.
Um, Green flags usually if they really have a lot of posts on
Mhm.
the um on the group. If they own a lot of properties as well, they would really post it there. So
Got
yeah, just be mindful of that as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice. And Marvin, one of the reasons why we wanted to chat with you is because you do have such a strong presence on social media. It's been really fun for us to follow your experience on Instagram. And just from that advice on housing, it sounds like you have a lot of experience of, chatting with others about travel online and using that as a resource. So tell us a little bit just more about social media, how that's benefited you throughout your travel experience. What's that looked like?
He's
So,
the expert.
so social media, I usually connect to travelers through Instagram. They like posting a lot of reels, videos, and then that's when I get to see the places they went to, and then give me an idea. Okay, maybe I can go to this area. Sometimes I would message them about like if they're in a specific state. I would message them, how's the travel job there? How's the situation there? How's the area? So I get to have an idea of like possible places I can go to for my next contracts. Also, I use this app. It's called MedVenture.
Mm.
I know a lot of travelers know that app. So you get to connect to different travelers there. Either it's PT, nursing, OT, all travelers are there. So they set up meetups there. You just set their location, and then the meetups they organize in that area would pop up. I haven't been to any meetups, but here in Bay Area, there's a lot. So especially if you're traveling solo, and you want to get to connect to people like of specific interests. Like there are meetups for like hiking groups. There are like if you want to do a Friday night out, you can go there. Or if you want to do like this specific activity like bowling, or just sometimes they would plan out like holiday trips of travelers.
Wow.
So and then also social media in general, just for me to have like tips on how to deal with travel job, because a lot of travelers right now, aside from traveling, they would also post about like how to handle your finances,
Mm.
um, other side gigs you can do while traveling. Or yeah, so just in general, it's very helpful for me. And then it also um I was also able to influence other people not into travel, who got the interest of doing travel job because they've seen what I'm doing.
Okay.
um so I think basically because I like to post like whenever I'm going out of work, I post a lot of videos about it. I post a lot of pictures about it. So they kind of have a gauge. Okay, he was able to do this and this. Maybe I can do travel job. And then that's when they ask me like, how's travel job? How's it going there? How do you deal with this? And then that's when the conversation about travel job starts. So mainly like influencing them. A lot of times I get to to influence a lot of my friends who's into travel job now. um, just because I kind of convinced them to do it. Yeah. So yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
Do you
Looks
guys
like you're.
ever? You go ahead, Aaron.
I was just going to say it's awesome that you get to mentor, new travelers or clinicians that you know or might not know that are looking to get into travel and teach them more about the process. So you're not only helping, fellow clinicians, but it all benefits you because nice little plug for the referral bonus that AMN offers.
Yeah.
if,
Yeah. I
if
already
there's travelers that will,
sorry.
no, you're fine. Yeah,
Yeah, I
referral
already
bonuses are
connected.
great. So.
Yep. So I was able to connect a bunch of people to Aaron already now. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, social media, live events like this, like just it helps with the information gathering for future clinicians. It kind of breaks down that wall. It's helpful sometimes to chat, as you've said, with another traveler versus just chatting with a recruiter or looking online. So I think that's huge. And thank you for, sending some business to AMN. So,
Because before I started travel job, like I researched about it. I mean, I read blogs about it. I researched about it. But getting firsthand information from a traveler, it gives me that like the confidence. Like, okay, I'll be able to do this. I get to know the ins and outs of travel job from the field, because they're already experienced it. So that really helped me a lot.
Definitely.
yeah. And I was thinking, if you could, because I mean, you've been practicing for 10 years. So if you could go back to prior to when you started practicing or when you started traveling and kind of give yourself some advice about what your PT journey would look like, does anything come to mind? Any advice you'd give your younger self?
I would say just go for it. Just go for it and enjoy the ride. That's what I'm always thinking right now. Before I get to have a lot of hesitations whenever I'm starting a specific task. Especially when I started before I started travel job, I was really hesitant because of the job market. I'm not sure like if there's a lot of travel jobs. So I just mustered it up. I was like, okay, I'll just do this. If it didn't work out, then I'll settle for somewhere else.
There you
So,
go.
but luckily, it turned out great for me. I enjoyed it. I get to experience a lot of things. So just just you just I always tell my the people asking me about travel job, you just have to be courage. You have to be able to adapt fast because travel job, there are facilities who are willing to coach you. But
Mm.
from my experience, it would be a plus if you already have that experience on that specific field of work. And then if you're able to adjust well, because some facilities, they would really put you on the job like first, second day. They would give you a little bit of orientation, and then they would expect you that you already kind of know the field. So you only need a little bit of exposure on the facility. So you just have to be able to adapt fast, and then don't be afraid to ask questions. Because I always tell the ones orienting me, they would ask me, "Are you okay? Are you okay to start seeing patients already?" I would tell them, "I'm okay. If I have questions, I'm really gonna ask you." I would I would ask my manager, I would ask my coworkers, even the nurses. If I don't know where to get this in the facility, I would ask them because I would tell them this is my first day. Can you tell me where to get this? So, the luckily the facilities I've been to, the people are very helpful. So that kind of made the start of my travel job easy as well.
That's great advice.
No,
Mhm.
100%. I think courage, gosh, it
Yeah.
takes a lot of courage to step into a travel role. And I mean, we talk a lot about how it's 13 weeks and it goes by really quickly. So,
It goes really quick.
if it's not the right fit, you can just move on. And it sounds like for your experience, you've ended up extending a lot, right?
Yep. So usually my contracts, they would ask me to extend, and if I really like the job, sometimes I would really think like it's already 13 weeks. I was like, I need more. I was like, okay, I need to experience more. So okay, I'm okay extending.
Yeah. Is there an assignment that stands out as your favorite, one that you'd probably go back to maybe in the future if given the chance?
Um, it would be my first contract here in California, actually.
Okay.
Because that was scary, like moving here in West Coast, because I don't know how it is here. I know I'm excited for the sceneries, but I don't know how the people are here. But on my first day here on my job, I actually told my coworker, "Well, why are the people here so nice?" So that kind of like resonated on my whole contract that I ended up extending. I wanted to extend more, but they don't need me anymore, I think. But I would want to go back there if they need traveler again. So yeah, I was able to build relationship. I build friends on that facility who are working perm there. Yeah, I get to like up until now, I get to hang out with them from time to time. So yeah,
Yeah.
that was my favorite so far, I think.
It's so cool when travelers will leave an assignment and I'll check on them and see how their last week went. And like, oh, they threw a party for me. They were so sad to see me
Yeah.
go. They were trying to beg me to go perm there. Like, so it's really cool to see the impact that travelers have in these facilities because they definitely are appreciated. And um, I think Marvin has done a great job with vetting these contracts out. One additional thing I was going to suggest for anybody that's new into travel is the interview process as well. Just making sure that you come prepared, you ask the right
Yeah.
questions, you kind of vet them and see what type of support they can offer you, what their other support staff is, what
Mhm.
productivity expectations you're going to be up against, because oftentimes you can kind of dig up either green flags or red flags from that interview and decide whether or not that's going to be the right fit for you. So I can't stress that enough, especially when you're new to travel.
Yeah, I actually have a list of questions I always ask during my interview. So that kind
That's
of
awesome.
helped me in like choosing like where to sign, like which contract to sign. Yeah,
Definitely.
so just make sure you ask questions to the manager you're interviewing with. Yeah, they're open to asking to answering those questions.
Definitely.
Yeah. Going into it with the expectation for yourself that you're not going to be an expert in that facility starting out. You've never been there before. So, I think that's great advice. Just be transparent, jump in with 2 feet, and you could be traveling for years and years, just like Marvin.
That's right.
And Marvin, do you have any future plans that you're looking forward to? Like any future bucket list states you want to cross off as a traveler?
Um, Bucket list states, of course, Alaska. Everybody wants to go to Alaska, but I said I'm not gonna go there by myself because it's a different arena there. It's a different area. So maybe along the way, I would meet a fellow traveler who's like, okay, we can go to Alaska. Maybe we can get a contract there, and also Hawaii,
Yeah.
just because it's Hawaii. But yeah, it can be more challenging there hearing from other travelers I talk to, but as far as I know, they've enjoyed their contracts there, so hopefully in the future, Alaska and Hawaii.
Yeah, those are states that we surprisingly get frequent openings in, and they're both transient communities. So people come and go. They don't necessarily settle down for a while out there. So that's going to create a need for constant travel contracts. And thankfully, there's been through a lot of those Facebook groups, there's been plenty of travelers who have been there before that can offer helpful tips as far as housing or rental cars, all those things that you don't really
Yeah.
think about. But when you're traveling that far, it's important to of course get vetted out and get all your information up front.
Love it. And I know Aaron can help get you there. So,
Yeah.
Well, I think that about wraps up our time, believe it or not. That has just flown by. Marvin, you have shared so many good tips, just had some really great insight on building community as a traveler, just putting yourself out there, being courageous. So thank you so much for sharing your insight. And for our audience watching, feel free to look up Marvin on social media. It sounds like he's sharing some great tips out there as well. Also, be sure to keep tuning in next month for November. We will be discussing traveling through the holidays. So we'll be talking about wrapping up this year. And just on this train of social media, you can follow us at AMN Allied. And I think that's it for us. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.